This conference will now be recorded.
Well, thank you all for joining me. And thank you for everyone that's watching. We do this every other week. If somebody that's watching wants to join us, just email me. But as the people that have been here before know, we'll start with a round of introductions. So please take about a minute or two to introduce yourself to the rest of the group. Your name, where you are, because we're expanding outside the Pittsburgh area. So now we have people from different locations. What your product or service is, and what would be a typical client or customer, or what a good referral would look like for you. Then after that, we'll open it up for a general conversation, starting with maybe some of the introductions triggered some questions from some of you. So we'll address those first. If anybody has any questions for anybody else based on their introductions. And then after that, we'll open it up for a completely general discussion. People want to talk about the economy, coronavirus, anything pretty much that's business related. And then we'll wrap it up. So actually, and what I'm going to do today is I'm going to throw a curveball, because I always start from the top down on my list. And Alejandra, good, better, and different gets to go first. But today is a curveball. So we're going to start from the bottom up. Except the only bad thing is we need to start with somebody that's new to the group, but that's okay. Lee, if you could take a minute to introduce yourself and where you're at. Again, same thing, good customer for you. What do you do?
Sure. So I find a lot of these networking things, I'm always the odd one out because I don't have a business. I guess the customer I'm seeking are people who can connect me with the aerospace industry. So down and dirty, as I got out of graduate school about 2 years ago, degree it was a master's of international business. What I'm trying to do is I was introduced to the world of project management. So now I'm trying to do project management in the aerospace industry. So not really the engineering side, but kind of more the business side. And one kind of subsector of aerospace that's coming up is space tourism. That's like what Jeff Bezos of Amazon, his company Blue Origin is doing. Richard Branson, and they're kind of different from SpaceX, where Elon Musk is trying to do a lot more technical STEM type stuff and send people to Mars. So yeah, I've been really targeting the Seattle area because there's a lot of corporate headquarters out there. SpaceX has a branch out there. Blue Origin is out there. I want to say Virgin Galactic has something out there. There's a lot of the smaller stuff too. So a lot of the business corporate side of aerospace is really nestled in Seattle, plus all of the more like the aviation type stuff. Yeah, kind of made connections into there, or also any connections into like the big companies, Google, Facebook, Microsoft, things like that. And that's all I have. Are any questions for me?
Well, we'll go through the whole round of introductions. I actually have a
Okay,
question
sure.
for you, but I'm going to try to be the leader here and keep the discipline.
Sure.
Um, so, JoAnn, you want to introduce yourself to the rest of the group?
Hi, I'm JoAnn Forrester, also known as the Empress of Biz. I've been in business over 35 years, and I started when I was 5. So let's just get that out of the way. Generally, I do financial consulting. I mean, business plans, business analysis, cost management. I'm not doing too much of that right now. I'm doing a lot of writing. I'm doing podcasting. I'm working with, I used to be a counselor, and there seems to be a big need for that right now. So I've had people show up at my doors, and I just put them on the porch and we talk. I mean, that's, crisis management. We do it. But I like to write, and I'm a good writer, and I profile people. That side of my business is called Blue Ribbons Profiles. And I have won for my clients over 300 awards from national to local. And awards do make the difference. They can give you a lot of notoriety, good notoriety, and they can put you in the place where people pay attention to you. I found degrees are somewhat, I found accomplishments and awards do much better than degrees. And I've worked with a lot of PhDs on, and I just, and that's, and my business partner had all these degrees, but common sense makes the deal. That's what I'm going to say. So good to see everyone.
Okay, very good. Let's see, moving up backwards here. Barbara Klein, could you please
Hi,
introduce yourself?
everybody. Hi, thank you. Hi, I'm Barbara Klein. I'm the owner of the Best You Dating and Life Coaching, and I am a dating and life coach. And I help singles who are frustrated and lonely by teaching them how to discover their own self-worth so they can fall in love with someone they're more aligned with. An ideal client, obviously, is somebody who is no longer attached to anybody, who is single, widowed, divorced, and feels the need to either deal with the trauma from their past relationships in order to be able to move forward successfully in the dating world and to be able to find a quality relationship, or someone who is struggling with online dating and wants to figure out why. Also, a side note, one of the things I've started to do, and I did interview Sal, is I am going to be posting one interview a week on Facebook. It is called The Best You, Connecting the World of Coaches. So it does not have to be anybody related with relationships or trauma or dating or online dating or anything like that. Today I interviewed a woman that helps people. Her title is Intuitive Fertility Coach. So, you know, if you have a business out there that you want to promote, get in touch with me and we will set up an interview. And eventually it'll get posted on Facebook.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Alex, if you could introduce yourself, please.
Sure. Well, hi, everybody. My name is Alex Gallimore. I am a financial services professional. I represent New York Life. I specialize in helping young families, people buying their first house, just having children, people newly engaged, to make sure that they're setting up their financial structure in life correctly, laying that correct foundation now, so that down the road you are set for retirement and anything that life throws at you. So that's what I do. Specifically, we work with people regarding wealth management, investing. We do products such as life insurance, long-term care. We do annuities. Let's see what else. Yeah. And investments such as mutual funds, ETFs. Oh, college savings. That's what I forgot. College savings plans is a 529. So that's what I do.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. And let's see, Alejandra, if you could introduce yourself.
Absolutely. Well, hi, everybody. My name is Alejandra. I actually work with a company that's called ACM. Now, I am independent business owner within ACM, so I don't work for them necessarily. But what we do is we actually market services that people use every single day and businesses use every single day, from the internet to the electricity to the gas. So we partner up with major corporations like DirecTV, Dish, and AT&T, etc. We bring them customers. In exchange, they pay me residual income every single month, which I absolutely love passive income. I'm sure Alex would agree with me on that one. And it allows me to also help other people generate a stream of income as well. So I love the idea of helping other people. I love the idea of helping people generate a side stream of income from whatever they have. And, you know, some people take it all the way to the top and generate this to be their, their complete plan, and some people have it as a game B or plan B, and both I love, and I love people, so I love helping people. So an ideal person for me to introduce to, I think, in this COVID world right now that we live in, People are not generating the same income they were 4 or 5 months ago. So anybody that is looking for an additional stream of income, any business owners that today maybe are hurting a little bit. I love working with business owners because, you know, they're very go-getters, very independent on their thinking. And then I work a lot in the real estate world. So any real estate agents or brokers or investors, they all have natural access to bills any single time a tenant moves into a house or a buyer purchases a home. And so I work with them to offer a concierge service and generate income, residual income for them. So anybody in the real estate world is a great connection for me, from the mortgage all the way to the realtor. And then anybody that is truly looking for another stream of income.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Well, as I mentioned, I have a question for Lee, but I'll just open it up to anybody else first. Have any of the introductions triggered a question, or would you like more detail from anybody?
Alejandra. Oh, I'm sorry. Were you asking anybody or?
Anybody for anybody, yes. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Alejandra, so you know my story. I've been struggling to find work and stuff outside of graduate school, so I have been tapping into different people and hearing their pitches on multiple streams of income. So maybe you and I can connect offline, and then you can give you more.
We'd love to do so.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been doing it for my house for 17 years, same company. So I would love.
All right.
Oh, and that reminds me, I forgot to say something at the introduction, but there is a little chat box. If you want to put whatever anybody wants to put in there, but typically your phone, your email, maybe a website, a LinkedIn link, whatever. Whatever you put in that chat box, I'll send a copy of this video out to everybody. And I'll include that chat box. So it just makes it easier for people. You don't have to write anything. I would encourage everybody to put your email in there, and again, your phone if you want, or any types of links to websites or profiles or anything like that. All right. Anybody else have any questions for anybody else?
Real quick, I'm going to jump off my phone here and get on the computer so I can join in the chat. I'll be right back.
Okay. Okay. And I'll wait till he returns because I had a couple things I wanted to mention to him.
Okay, absolutely. So Alex, go ahead, Barb.
Alejandra, so you mentioned AT&T. So what services with AT&T can you connect somebody with?
It's a great question. Right now we have internet through AT&T and we have cell phones through AT&T. And now in July, which I'm super excited for, at the end of July, we're adding AT&T television as well. So AT&T streaming, which I think a lot of people are looking more into streaming than they are into the traditional satellite that we offer too. But there's a lot of people that still like the satellite, but because a lot of people ask for streaming, I'm excited to add AT&T television to it because it's more streaming-like.
So the reason why I ask is I've been an AT&T wireless customer for like 25, 30 years. So is there a way to benefit?
So that's a great question. Actually, AT&T is the only one of our providers that doesn't allow us to bring existing customers. So it's just good for new customers on AT&T. Or I have customers that have had AT&T for a long time, but they want to look into Verizon because we have a very good Verizon package or other type of things like that, then that works better. But as far as AT&T cell phones, they actually, specifically AT&T just looks for new customers.
Okay, and then my other question.
No, just to clarify, so if a person wants AT&T or if they want Verizon, you can accommodate them with either one? You represent both?
Yeah, I have AT&T, Verizon, and Sprint. Oh. But in Verizon and Sprint, I do it on a private label manner. So I bring a customer to a company called Flash Wireless, and that way the customer doesn't have a contract, doesn't have credit check, but the phone will still sit Verizon or Sprint on the top, meaning they're using the towers at the exact same time. AT&T, I do bring them directly into AT&T, and that's why I cannot bring existing customers, because I would not be able to change them from the same company to the same company. So.
Okay, good to know. And Verizon, yeah. Is it only wireless or can you do internet as well?
Only wireless.
Okay.
So for internet, the companies that we represent are Spectrum, AT&T, and Frontier.
Okay. Thanks.
And you're located where, Barbara?
Well, I'm just looking at, is there any way to save? That's all.
No, but what state are you at?
Oh, well, so for my home, I have Verizon Wireless. I mean, Verizon Internet.
Are you in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, I'm in Pittsburgh.
So in Pittsburgh right now, the biggest saving for anybody in Pittsburgh right now is electricity, because our fixed rates for electric are so fixed for a year as of right now, this moment, are cheaper than the utility. So if you're looking into savings, that's the best savings of all in Pittsburgh right now.
Yeah, I signed up through I'm sorry, I signed up through a friend with, I think, Stream.
Oh, got it.
So I guess I'm obligated for a year, but in a
Yeah.
year I can do something different.
Yeah, let me know when it's the contract's over.
Okay. And for Lee, the things I was thinking about is there are people that I know on Facebook that are a former classmate of mine works for NASA in Virginia. I think he's a scientist. My boyfriend's son works for Boeing in Seattle, and my ex's ex-wife, her husband. Oh, okay. All right. Can you hear me now? He's fixing it, I guess.
Oh, okay. I mean, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's his connection. He was trying to move his device to the computer.
I'm going to get some water. Be right back.
You hear me now?
We can hear you, Lee.
Okay.
GoToMeetings is just not being a friendly player with me today.
Okay. All right. So to repeat, I have a former classmate that's a scientist for NASA that lives in Virginia.
Okay.
My boyfriend's son works for Boeing in Seattle.
Oh,
And
nice.
to make it a little shorter, who this person is, but I have a friend that works for Google in California, San Jose area, Mountain View. So, are you on Facebook, Lee?
Yes, I am. I can dig that up.
Okay, so yes, because I can connect you through Messenger with these people and just see if there's any help out there for you.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great. That's exactly what I'm looking for, is just, those connections that I can take it from there. Or, an introduction is nice because it's that social proof and stuff,
Exactly.
Sometimes people they have good intentions, but like, oh, just contact this person. It's like, well, without the introduction, a lot of the times they don't respond. So.
Right. Exactly.
So my masseuse has been working inside of Google as their massage therapist, because Google does that, which to me is crazy, amazing. They pay for like half of their massages, I guess. So she's been working in Google for a very long time, and I wonder, I'm just trying to think if the person that just is in charge of like managing her relationship, and she's not a Google employee, but she's in there. I wonder if the person, she's always mentioned this lady that is the one that, manages the relationship with her. I wonder if she's in HR or where's she at. I'm going to ask her. Nothing to lose.
Yeah. Oh yeah, let me tell you. I mean, this is the nice thing that I like about doing these meetings is these connections. I mean, a while back, I don't know if some of you that come to this regularly remember, but we had a person that wanted to, and I think, by the way, he was either in Seattle or Washington State or Oregon, somewhere around there. It was the Pacific Northwest. But anyway, he wanted to get involved with data science, and I hooked him up with a company that I had tried to bring to the States a while back that does exactly that. They do data science projects out in Spain, and I saw the emails going back and forth with all the coordination for the interview and all that. And not only that, the gentleman here had done a lot of data science work with the NBA of all things, and that's something they wanted to get involved with over there. So it's funny how those connections work.
Yeah, definitely. Like, there's one guy I met on one. He's from St. Louis, Missouri, which is a couple states south of me here, and he does like inside 3D scanning things. But he introduced me to like 6 people in the aerospace industry. So you never know who knows who. So
Wow.
Yeah, you're doing the right thing. I love that. Connections is everything.
I'm trying to get my
No,
Facebook
Alex,
here.
let me ask you
I'm on a real slow computer, so bear with me.
Yeah. Alex, you said you were in Orlando, correct?
Yes.
Okay, let me ask you this. Because one thing is, of course, what you see in the news, and another thing is what's happening on the ground.
Yeah.
Um,
I guess we're the national spotlight right now.
yeah, I mean, Disney's opening, and of course the
Yeah.
coronavirus. Just give me your impression as the man on the ground. Is it as bad as they say? Is it better? Is it worse? You know, I think you're working from your house.
Yeah, I'm working from my home, but I've been out. Like, for instance, yesterday I went to Wekiva Springs and I kayaked with some of my buddies. So we were outdoors. I mean, the place was jam-packed. So I don't think, like, this is a completely different environment than, like, New York was. As far as what I saw on the news. I could be wrong. You guys might know a little bit better, but it seemed like it was completely locked down. I mean, that is not the case here at all. I think people are kind of tired and ready to get out, and just as they're ready to get out, we're spiking. So I don't really see much of a difference. I would say that more people are wearing masks, but still the majority of people aren't. So I mean, you can do pretty much whatever you want down here, and yeah, that's about it. I mean, we try and social distance as much as possible, but obviously the political climate and the mindset down here is way different than it is in the Northeast.
Oh, well, let me tell you, I went personally out to a bar restaurant on Saturday night.
Yeah.
And this place in particular this is what was interesting. It's a new place, and it had a very big sort of outdoor area. Okay. So we were at a table, and I can tell you, I mean, there was about 8 tables, and only 2 were being used. We were using one, and there was another group of about 4 people that were at another table more than 6 feet away, and a bunch of tables on Saturday night. But inside the restaurant, at the bar, people were shoulder to shoulder.
Wow.
And, I mean, literally like normal times. And I'm like, you know what? I'm actually kind of glad I'm out here because it's just us, and this other table is reasonably far away, and we're outdoors, and the breeze is coming, whatever. But I got to tell you, if I would not have been a happy camper at the bar on Saturday night at this place.
Yeah. And it's funny, as the cases spike, I know a lot of people that are getting it. So a lot of friends of mine or friends of friends I'm hearing about. So
we just heard about good friend 19-year-old son who has been they're taking him off the machines, and
wow,
only 19.
A 19-year-old.
He was in good health. So 3 weeks, and I half expect to get a call saying he's not here.
Oh.
So it's a lot. It's just it's luck of the draw what's going to happen, but it's a lot worse than. In one way, it's a lot better. In a lot of ways, it's a lot worse than we think. And then when you start having people around you, then you go, oh. And that 19-year-old shocked me, because I've been careful, but I haven't been panicky. But now I'm going,
Yeah.
I had 2 meetings out of I had about 21 presentations booked for last week, and I had 2 canceled because of COVID.
You mean like presentations in person?
Because they had it. Like the people and then I have, out of my Peruvian team, I was going with my leaders because we're about 10 days from launch. So I was going through the whole team, and a lot of people, it's cash payment over there. It's not like here you pay with a credit card. They go to the bank and they pay on cash. And there were like several people, they didn't pay, so talking about them particularly, and 2 individuals that I said, well, how about this one? Dead. How about this one? Dead. COVID. And one of them was 40, like maybe younger than me for sure. I met him at a meeting, like for sure younger than me.
Yeah.
Oh, all I can tell you is I was reading an article earlier today, and I don't even remember what magazine or newspaper, but it was very shocking. I'll use that word. And it was talking specifically about Allegheny County, where Pittsburgh is, where a lot of us are here on this phone call. And you can see the graph. It starts to go up, and then it plateaus very nicely. I mean, and you're thinking, oh my God, we're out of the woods. Well, now it's starting to shoot up like a rocket. No pun intended for Lee. Um, and I think people have a hard time grasping these exponential functions,
Yeah.
because most of the stuff we deal in real life is linear. Not to get too techy or too much into the math, but exponential functions can get away from you in a heartbeat. And I unfortunately I think here in Allegheny County we might be starting to see that now.
Yeah, my son's a police officer, and he's been kind of cavalier about this, but he's got to obey the rules. But they have 3 people, and they're not a big, they're a fairly large force, but they've got 3 out. Just happened within the week, and then that impacts the families, and then so it's like rippling through the police department right now. So.
Oh yeah, and they're talking about opening the schools and all that, and I get it. The economy has to keep on going. I mean, the flip side, I was reading an article saying that 50% of the restaurants are going to go under, and the only thing that's going to be left is either the fast foods like McDonald's and Burger King, or the big chains of more like fast casual or whatever you want to call it. But the individual restaurants, the mom and pops, the small chains, all that stuff is going to go away.
They feel for people, and 35%. They say 35% of retail business.
Yep.
I mean, you have to become creative and start to adapt into the new normal if you can. But the sadness is the people that had invested whole life savings. I see it all day, every day, especially, where I am right now, like in the point like where people come, people that before took a look at my business and said, no, like right now they're calling and saying I have to. They invest their life savings into these businesses, and I think it's sad to watch.
Oh yeah, I mean, as the business broker, there's a lot of activity always in normal times in restaurants and retail stores and things like that, because those are very common and very typical sort of small businesses. And now I'm getting more calls than ever, people wanting to sell their restaurant or the retail store. But I'll be honest, and I'm very honest with them. Right now, it's really hard because first, nobody wants to buy. A lot of people are unemployed, don't have the money. But 2, the reality is their business has not performed over the last 6 months. So it's hard to get a good valuation for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hey Lee, let me ask you a question, and I know this is not exactly what you're thinking of doing. This is just more of an intellectual curiosity. Setting money aside, because I know it's expensive, would you get on a rocket yourself as a space tourist?
Yes.
I'm saying no.
I mean, if someone else, if money was not an object, I would. I mean,
Wow.
I would probably wait a few more years to iron out some of the kinks. But yeah, it's like it's like these CEOs that their companies that develop like bulletproof glass, and they stand behind it, and some of their staff members shoots them, so they prove they stand behind the product literally. I think that'd be a way to market.
I think since I was a little girl, I wanted to be an astronaut, and it's like, put me on there. I don't care. I'm going, and I'm terrified to fly. Absolutely terrified. But put me on there. I'm going. I would love to do it.
I think if my kids were all grown up and they don't need me anymore, for sure I would try it.
Well, I will go on the record saying I would not. Okay. And by the way, full disclosure, I used to be a pilot at one point. I've been on an ultralight. I've been on a glider. I don't know if it's simply getting a little bit more risk averse as you get older. But to me, there's so much of a difference from being in either a commercial jet or even a small propeller plane like a Cessna or a Piper or whatever. You know, when you're actually talking about rocket engines and the whole suit and the oxygen system and all that stuff, that to me takes the risk to a whole other level.
Yeah, I feel it's so experimental at this phase right now, you know.
Well, did you watch the launch of the several weeks ago of them using the lamp? Oh, I was just thrilled.
Yeah, it was
Well,
pretty interesting.
you know, I don't know, and I still remember when the Challenger blew up. I was doing my MBA way back then, and that I don't know, that wasn't pretty.
Well, it's interesting because a lot of people kind of hate the space tourism side because for now it's just a lot of these multimillionaires, the only ones that can afford to go to space. But I'm looking at, you know, decades from now when all this stuff starts to trickle down, becomes more commercially accessible for your average person. And also there's a lot of like transportation technology, like, you know, Uber's trying to do like, you know, taxi drones or whatever, you know, human-sized drones and stuff. And it's just all tied up into that. So I think there's a lot of future stuff that's good for society. I'm not necessarily saying I want tax dollars to go to it too much. You know, I'd rather get people to Mars because that's a lot more advanced. But there is something, you know, to come from this, I feel.
What about calling
Well,
me?
here, Lee, I'm going to throw out a business idea for you, and
Go
you
for
heard it here first. And if some of the people on this phone call want to work on this, but you know what we need to do is we need to buy one ticket on one of these systems and then set up a lottery where people can put in $100 or $200, you know, something that a normal human being can do.
There you go.
Whatever, we have to sell 1,000 tickets or 10,000 tickets or something, and then the guy that wins goes on that one ride. And so it's basically a lottery for getting on one of these rockets.
I like that.
I actually like that idea. I never thought about that.
Yeah, see, there you go. Hey, Alex was ready to buy a ticket.
I'm ready to buy a ticket. I wouldn't buy
Hey,
a
I'll
ticket.
throw down $100.
All right.
I'm broke and unemployed, but that'll be worth it.
Run the lottery. How about that?
As a matter of fact, and here's the thing, Barb, for those people that don't like their spouses, you buy a ticket for them.
Oh man!
Oh my gosh, Sal.
Oh my God, that's
funny, Sal. Now, Barbara, since I'll just put you on the hot seat, tell us a little bit this other project that you're doing that is sidelines to your normal business. That's different than what you normally do.
well, what I realized by doing a speaker series that I've been conducting, I've done 2 of them and I'm starting a 3rd one. What I realized is that I love connecting with people and talking to them about their business. And so after I completed my last speaker series in April, I was feeling sort of low and I was trying to figure out why. And what I realized was I loved interviewing people. So I put some posts out there on Facebook and I got like 250 responses. And so I created a survey for these speakers to come and fill out a survey in order to utilize their expertise in specific ways. Like I got the speaker series I'm doing. So if they fit the criteria for that, I want them on my speaker series. If not, then I do the Facebook interviews. I've done a couple and they're on Facebook. We just haven't like got it going, and that's not necessarily me, but it's my virtual assistant who does all the techie stuff for me. So that's sort of where the glitch is, but I keep her busy in many other ways too. So, you know, and she's got other clients. So, but that's what's happening. So the goal is it's going to show up every week on Facebook starting very, very soon.
Very cool. It's nice to see you branching out into something else because now you're expanding my ability to refer your business.
Oh, good. Thank you. Yeah, and it could be a good venue for you to talk about what you do and the opportunities that are available to people.
Sure, I'll gladly be part of your project. I met with Sal and JoAnn. I had a great time talking to them at their podcast. I like to talk. I'm a good networker.
Yeah, I have your email address. I'll send you the link for the survey, and then we can.
That'll be lovely. Yes, I'll complete it. Happy
Right.
to do so, Barbara. Anything that can help you with to expand your business, I'm 100% supporter.
I'll throw something out there. I threw my LinkedIn into the chat there. I'm on LinkedIn off and on all the time, so I'm looking at jobs right now. But if you want to connect with me on there, if I see anything that you're trying to about promoting your business, always click like and share. And so I know it's not a lot, it's a cheap plug, but I'm always just trying to help people get that SEO going and stuff. Just bring attention to what they're doing. So if you want, add me on LinkedIn.
Thank you. Yes, I just recently started using my LinkedIn again.
Okay.
Okay, good. We're like almost 40 minutes after the hour here. I know we started a minute or two late, so I'll maybe one last comment and then we'll call it quits. So does anybody have a last comment, question, anything, anybody before we kind of call it quits?
Yeah, I wanted to talk to Alex just a minute. Alex, are you working with small business owners?
That's not necessarily my target market, but as I'm starting out, that's being constructed. Does that make sense? So as I gain experience, I'm trying to figure out where my niche is.
Okay,
so
because we're going to talk tonight because I have some ideas for you.
Oh, that'd be perfect. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks, JoAnn.
I like we're going to talk tonight.
Well, we scheduled a meeting already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just real quick, how often does this group meet? Like once a week, or?
We meet every other week.
Okay.
So today's the 13th, so the next one will be 27th.
Okay. Well, it's fine. I think I found this group almost a month ago on Meetup. I was on Meetup just putting in keywords to network it and stuff. But my schedule was always so packed. This was the first one I could attend to. So I like the group, so I'm going to try to come to the next one if I can make it.
Yeah, thank you. And by the way, it's what I always tell people too. And this was more even when we were doing the live meetings for lunch at the restaurant. You can't really expect to go to one meeting, introduce yourself, and then get all these referrals and get all this business. I mean, people have to see you periodically, right? It's the old thing of they have to know you, they have to trust you, they have to like you. And that's not going to happen in a single meeting. So I always tell people, look, especially with the physical ones, these are so easy. It's not a problem, but especially for the physical ones, I say, look, it's not like we usually do them once a month. I said, it's not like you have to come every single month, but at least come once a quarter. So people see you 4 times during the year. And then as they go about their normal business and they say, oh, I need whatever, financial services, insurance, somebody to help you write a book, whatever the case may be, they think of you, you're top of mind. But unfortunately, to stay top of mind, people have to see it periodically.
I totally agree. That's why I keep showing up to some. So even when I got out of graduate school here in Minneapolis, I was just sampling much different groups physically. This was 2019 earlier on, but then I found a few that I liked, and then I started volunteering with them, which is really good to put on my resume because I've been more unemployed than employed since getting out of graduate school, but I put that as a professional experience. Yeah, because people see your worth and they see that you're willing to show up and stuff. So you're very right about that.
Yep. Okay. Well, any last things before I turn it off? As I just said, the next one will be on the 27th. Same thing, 2 p.m. U.S. Eastern. I'll be sending the little announcement through the system here a little bit. I only do them one at a time because I've had too many cases where people sign up for the wrong one and then I have to go manually in and switch them around or they get confused or whatever. So now I only release them one at a time.
Just remind people that you and I will be, we are recording people for the Let's Do Business.
Okay.
And that our next one coming up is this Friday. Robert Grant, correct?
No, Chris Shea.
Rochelle, that's right. That was last week.
What does he do again?
Pardon me?
Chris is a very interesting person because he is a financial planner, but he is a financial planner with a nonprofit up in Boston. And the way I've been talking with him is because they're a nonprofit, they really don't sell you financial services. They're more honestly just interested in educating people about what's out there, what could be good products for you, and things like that. Um, so as JoAnn said, we're going to be picking his brain for about an hour, maybe like an hour, 45 minutes, somewhere in there. But the other interesting thing that I was completely pleasantly surprised and flattered is most financial planners don't do interviews. The reason being, they have a lot of issues with compliance and regulation and this and that and the other thing. When I offered to Chris to do an interview, I was almost ready to say, he's going to say no because of the regulation, whatever. He said, well, if you send me the questions, I'll write up the answers. I'll run them through my compliance department and they give me the green light and then we can do the interview and just make sure you stick to the questions. And I said, wow, this guy really is willing to do the legwork to help us get this done with him. So long story short, that's what we're doing Friday.
That is great, because not only he's willing to do the legwork, but it tells you one thing: he thought outside of the box. I love people that present solutions, not problems. So that just tells you a lot about his character.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like I said, he's a nonprofit. So, it's not like they need to sell a particular product to pay the electric bill. They're really on a mission to help educate people and then let them, do their thing.
So his non-profit is for financial advisory.
Correct. He is a nonprofit financial education company. Let me say it that way.
Interesting. Very cool. Considering I fought in Washington for a season in my life for financial education, that is actually very cool.
Yep. And if you want, I'll send you his contact information just so you have it and you can.
Yeah, sure. Love to. Love to. Yes. I served on the American Bankers Association Education Board for many years. So I would love to. Yeah, sure.
Yep. Okay. All right. Anything else?
JoAnn, really quick, did you say tonight or tomorrow night? Because I have us talking.
Tuesday night. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, I just want to make sure. I was like, oh no, did I get that wrong? Okay, perfect.
No, in fact, I have 3 calls tomorrow. I'm being more social than I've ever been.
Fun is great.
Yeah, tomorrow night, 7:30.
Okay, cool.
Oh yeah, let me tell you, I am pleasantly surprised. I think I mentioned this in some of our prior sessions. I really like to do video chats before everybody was doing them before the coronavirus, just because at one point in my career, I worked for Hewlett Packard, HP, that was always very technologically advanced. I mean, we were doing video chats when it was like a whole room, and the setup, the computers and the cameras were like thousands of dollars, and it was like one for the facility. So if you were going to do a video chat, you had to log out the room and then you go into the room. And I think there was even a tech that got the thing going. So anyway, long story short, I've been doing video chats for a long time. I've been a fan of them, but most people have not. Maybe because they found them too complicated or were afraid people were going to see them in their pajamas or something. But today I've got like 3 or 4. So I'm actually kind of pleasantly surprised I was taken off.
I actually love it. So I used to do 2 meetings a day, 2 presentations a day at 6:30 and 8:30, and I would have to drive to people's houses. And I mean, if I recruited somebody, say I start working with Lee and he's in Minneapolis, I would have to just fly to Minneapolis and do a meeting in person and hope that he had a good meeting. And I was telling my husband the other day, it was 8:30 at night, and I'll have just finished my 8th meeting of the day and presentation. And I told my husband I would just be driving to my 2nd one right now. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. I love that people embraced it, because what was missing, like Sal said, it wasn't the existence of it. American Express had the same setup, Sal, by the way. But you know, it wasn't the existence of it. It was the fact that people did not embrace it. See, I was telling Sal the other day in the interview that we did, and JoAnn, you know, I built a whole country on Zoom. You know, I put hundreds of representatives in Colombia in 2018 on the technology, but then I try to implement it here and people were not open. And I think Florence, because there's so much immigration, they're so used to see their loved ones on FaceTime or Zoom or WhatsApp or whatever, you know, technology they use. But then you come to the United States, and even though it was a click of a button, download the app and just click, it's the fear of the unknown. And it was going to happen. It was the same as, you know, how long they took for people to stop sending and there's people that still send the mail in with a stamp to pay online and feel secure paying online, but it was a slow, it kind of reminded me that was going to be the curve, slow process, but this was just boom. And if at least for me, if one thing came out of this is that now you have further reach with your connections. I mean, my son's turning 1 this weekend. We're doing a Zoom party. I'm inviting people that I haven't even seen in forever, because who cares? I have 500 people room in my Zoom, so come along. I'm getting a magician, and she's gonna do it on Zoom. I think it's great. I just think, you know, it's a whole new world. But the good thing is that now my family that is in Uruguay is participating, and my friends that are in other states are participating. But that before you couldn't. So, you know, I think this is opening barriers and frontiers, and something good always comes out of something bad if you allow it to.
Yeah, we're going to do our first major virtual event. The organization that I'm president of, the Pennsylvania Women's Hall of Achievement, and we're doing a major virtual event where I'm getting a lot of help. But it's, you know, we're going to do fundraising, and we're going to celebrate this particular occasion. And so I would have never thought of doing that before, you know. Cool.
Oh, because you're right. Now, not only can you do an event virtually on Zoom or go to meeting, but you can also do the entire fundraising and collecting money for the tickets, and everything is virtual. You can use Eventbrite or you know, whatever you want to do, and Meetup or whatever, and everything is packaged there for you in a little platform.
Yeah. And if the magician is any good, then I'll invite her to come along here, and you know, and go ahead and also network, because you know, a good referral for her is virtually anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Well, here, I'll make you guys a deal. And maybe I'll even do this more broadly, but you guys will get this hot off the press. If you've been to one of these meetings before, which obviously you all are here, invite somebody new and we'll waive the fee.
Okay.
And I know the fee's not a lot, because I mean, you know, come on, it's just more to whatever, have people really show up. But if you invite somebody new and we keep it within the scope of the 10 people that are allowed, you'll get a free ride. So there you go. You have an incentive. You can invite your magician. I know JoAnn probably knows 10,000 people in her head already, and Barb too.
Oh my God, I have so many people sounds unopened out. Careful what you wish for.
Well,
Change to Alejandra.
For meetings, so then you get free meetings
I love it. Yes, I love it. Yes, no,
forever.
but I
You
think
know,
a lot of people
a new person to every meeting.
I think people can benefit from meetings like this, and you know, I think like the thought that Lee has right now to establish relationships, and it's a little bit different than the normal. You know, this is my business and this is a referrals. Like he's trying to establish relationships to get to a certain point. Listen, you know, I think that is phenomenal. I remember being very young, and my father came home with these little folders that held business cards. And they said, this is for you to start collecting your business cards. In the back, you're going to write where you met them, the date, and something that reminds you to that person. And then you're going to keep in touch. And he always told me the story of this gentleman that worked at the bank with him. When my father started, he was a banker, and he always said that he had traveled the world visiting people that he met because he's really good at keeping in touch. Mind you, in those times, keeping in touch was a lot harder than keeping in touch now. But I tell you this, with the relationships that I built, once I started looking for a job, I only looked for the first one. Because every other job when I was in the corporate world that had gotten came from somebody that I knew.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, then I left corporate, but still, every single thing happened from somebody that I knew. And it's so important that this that we're doing here today, and Sal, you can count on me. I will be here on the 27th. And I'm looking forward to bringing somebody with me, not because of the fee, just because I like this group. I appreciate the people that are the constant faces in this group. And so I'm going to sign up because I see that with this referral system, if everybody brings one, it's very easy to stay out. So I'm going to go sign up for your next meeting.
No way. I used to do the same thing. I used to have a binder full of business cards. And here's the one thing that I will tell you. I was in manufacturing for a very long time in Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is a small society, and manufacturing within a small society is even a smaller group of professionals. But I was very proud that when I was running different facilities, never once did I hire an engineer or above without being able to talk to people, do a reference check that was not what he gave me in his resume. Because obviously, let's be realistic. When they give you a list of references in the resume, unless they're really dumb, those people are going to speak very well of them. And, nobody's perfect. I'm not expecting, things, but I could see where they had worked. And I always found a way to check some references without using the people from the resume. And that to me was very valuable.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay.
All right, everybody. It was an awesome meeting.
But this is for real now. Anybody have one last comment before we disband?
No.
I'll be on vacation next time, but I put in the post I will bring somebody in August.
Okay. Very cool. Send us a picture of you snorkeling, because I bet you're going to go snorkeling.
I'll be in a pool, but not snorkeling. No snorkel. Yeah, we're doing a Airbnb in Little Rock, Arkansas. My daughter's son-in-law and granddaughter will be driving from Austin. My daughter that's here with me, we're going to be driving to Little Rock, Arkansas. We are isolating ourselves for these 2 weeks before we go so that we can be around my granddaughter. So
very good. Very nice. Okay, now I will say one last thing. Be aware that I post this on YouTube, and on YouTube, when you hit share, there's a little box like if you can click to have the link, create a custom link that starts somewhere different than the very beginning of the video. So if you want to create a custom link to start where you introduce yourself, or maybe where you do one of these exchanges, whatever, just be aware that YouTube provides that little capability, which I think is really cool. So you can send people the link, and when they click on it, instead of starting from the very beginning, they'll start with your introduction. So I think that's kind of neat. And again, if you post it on Facebook or wherever, when people click on it, it starts at your introduction as opposed to way at the beginning.
Thank you, Sal, for everything you do as usual.
Oh,
Yes,
well, you're
thank you.
welcome. Thank you guys for always playing along and coming and chatting. Okay. All right. Well, listen, Lee, you got the idea. Lottery tickets for space tourism.
Oh, I'm there.
I'm starting my own side business doing just that.
I love it. All right, everybody. So nice to see you.
Good to see you all.
Yeah. See ya.
Bye-bye.
bye.